Howdy, everybody. Welcome back to a episode of Story Time. This is a little bit different. Obviously, I'm indoors. It's a little breezy outside, so it could get a little windy and muffled for the sound quality. So I said, what the heck? And then I can't wear my Story Time hat with the earmuffs on or the headphones. Earmuffs. Well, come on, where am I in Alaska? Uh, anyway, so I'm going to get on and share this story. I'm not going to lie to you. I just watched a video, a gal on YouTube talking about her worst date, and she shared it on Valentine's Day, and it was pretty funny. She had a pretty good story, and I should have probably saved that link so you could watch it because it was pretty. I could see how it could be pretty embarrassing, and but I'm going to tell you my story. Uh, Good friend of mine that I had known for quite a few years, uh, Delaware State Trooper. His I'm only going to identify him by first name. His name was Mike, and he was a pretty big dude. He was pretty jacked up, and we used to lift weights all the time back in the day when I was physically fit. And he was still, on my best day, he was still more jacked up than I would ever be. But he had a good frame. He was strong. He had a good muscle base, and I think he was from a somewhat large family. I want to say like a family of uh, four, five, six siblings or something like that. And he ended up marrying a lady named Kelly. And she was from a very large family, a Catholic family. And they had, I'm trying to remember the exact number, like 13 or 14. The parents had like 13 or 14 kids, one of those Catholic families back in the day that stayed busy. And anyway, so I got along really well with this guy, Mike. He was like more mellow. I still like wild back in the day. And um, he was just like a real good family man. But we loved to lift weights together. And when we lift weights together, sometimes there was some other troopers around and stuff like that. And we would like bust each other's nuggets. But he knew how dedicated I was to physical fitness and, law enforcement and stuff like that. And so it was, well, that's what you do. It's like a big fraternity. So you bust each other's nuggets, and you building camaraderie. It's almost like the football team. I've never been in the military, but from everything I've heard, it's very similar. And so we had some really good times. I really, to this day, still respect Mike. Uh, great dude. He's been through some tough times. Obviously, most troopers at one point in time do, but he has my full respect. So I don't know. He gets badgering me like one day or whatever, and he says why don't you what are you dating? Do you have a girlfriend? At that point in time, I think I was between girlfriends, whatever. He was like kind of getting a little nosy, and he goes, what? Let me hook you up with my sister-in-law. I said, no, I'm okay. No, come on. She's really nice. You're going to like her. And I knew where they lived. I knew their house. I mean, because I grew up like literally blocks away, and I knew the family name. I'm not going to reveal the family name, but I had never met her personally. I knew some of the sons that were like athletes and stuff growing up. Like, we were years apart, but I knew the family name. So they were very talented, at least the male athletes that I knew. I really didn't know much about the females, but I did really respect and admire Mike's wife. So if Mike is pushing this hard, he says, let me hook you up on this date. I forget the gal's name. I forget her name I'm just going to say Mary. I forget what her name was, to be honest with you. So I show up to their house. Picture this like, how do I describe this? It was a rather large, like, I want to call it like a Victorian style house. Then they had like a big detached, like several detached, like a one unit in the back, detached garage, like 2 or 3 car garage, whatever. And there was kind of like, obviously there was like a pull around area in the back. They had a back porch. And so he arranges this thing. I pull, I pull up, I get out. I forget what I was driving at the time. I get out and, I'm clean cut and muscular at the time and feel confident about myself, even though I'm like, man, this is really, I've never been on a blind date. This is, what's going to happen here. And as I'm approaching the back porch, because that's where I was told to go, their German Shepherd runs out and bites me in the ankle. I'm like, just like, I was like in the middle of like no man's land. I'm like, there's nowhere to go. Like he's closing on me. And even in my best day, I probably couldn't, so he got me in the ankle and everything. And then, she comes, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, hey, what do you want to do now? And I forget what we did. I want to say we went bowling or something. It was something like pretty, pretty lame. And we hung out. I say a good time. It was just, I don't know, maybe because back in the back of my brain, I kept thinking about this damn dog biting my ankle. And I did exactly what I was instructed to do. And this dog came out of nowhere. And usually I'm pretty good with dogs, but daggone it, man. I had never met that dog before. And German Shepherds are known to be aggressive and protective. So I commend the dog for doing that. And I forget what we did. I think we went bowling and then got some ice cream and we hung out and like we pretty much got along. And it was just, I could see, like, I'm going to be totally honest. At that time, I was just wild and crazy, and I could tell she was just like a good Catholic Christian girl, and she was nice. Don't get me wrong, nice. And I just knew, like, man, I don't know. So we never did go on a second date, but that was it. G Money goes on a date and gets bit by a German Shepherd. They say dogs can sense people. So I don't know. I kind of feel guilty about that because I was just doing as instructed. I was kind of put on the spot. I did it more as a kind, friendly gesture to my friend. And here this happens, I get bit by a dog. He's like shredding my bottom of my pant legs. And I'm like, oh man, yeah, let me go out and have fun with this gal. Sure, a dog just ripped me apart, But anyway, so that's story time. It's the life and times of G Money back in the Wilmington, Delaware. And that's it, folks. That's all I've got to share for you today. And that you're probably thankful of that. But if you get a chance, share one of your, if you ever had a blind date or a horrific date of any sort. I know I've had some horrific dates, but never, that was pretty sure that was my only blind date. That was my first blind date for sure. And it did not turn out well. So I prefer the seeing dates, the seeing eye dates, you know what I mean? Without the German Shepherds attached, they walk you around. Peace out, folks. Have a memorable week and stay positive and share the love when you can. And, yeah, go to Match.com because it might be safer. No, I'm just kidding.